Welcome to episode 2 of Carpool Conspiracy Theories. You're back with Chris, and it's time to take on one of my favourite theories, which is the pyramids. We'll sit down, strap in, and let's drive down this rabbit hole. Now, there's been a lot of theories about how the pyramids were built and what they were used for. Now, I am going to do a deep dive on everything. I'm going to go back through the whole series that we're doing and do a deep dive on a lot. I think that it's justified. I think it warrants it. But today we're just going to talk about my favourite theory in regards to the pyramids, which is, what are the chances that these pyramids were power station? What if the Egyptians and the whole world had power, and then for some reason, either a cataclysmic event or don't know, maybe something to do with over the ice wall and what Admiral Byrd found, which I have been looking into recently, maybe that's got something to do with it, and then maybe they've realised that they've had a Icarus moment and the Egyptians flew too close to the sun and they've got it, they've been shut down and history's been changed. But from the findings, and especially with the new LiDAR scan on the pyramids, this theory, it's quite plausible. If you look into what actually went into building the pyramids, alright, they say it took 100,000 men 30 years. Now, I'm not being funny, but when I was on the building sites, the last thing you wanted to do was go on top of another man's work, because it'd either be wrong or you don't want to put your name on top of someone else's, because it's two different styles at the end of the day. So how can 100,000 men take 30 years to build something spectacularly plumb with no room for error at all? There is no room for error in them pyramids. They're fucking brilliant. So what I'm getting at is that a marvel. That's why they're one of the wonders, and I'm wondering what they were actually about. So I was looking into the materials that were in the pyramids, and we've got obviously limestone, lime mortar, which is well known for standing the test of time. That's not it sound. It's the internals of the pyramid that get me going and get my alarm bells ringing, because on their own, internally, there's quartz and there's granite. Now on their own, you think, alright, they're just there for decorative purposes, but both of these minerals, whatever you want to call them, under structural pressure, so let's say for example the movement of tectonic plates, or just the vibration of the earth naturally, or anything really, frequency of the earth, again I'm linking into Tesla and his 369 theory. Both of these things, quartz and granite, they all create an electric charge under structural stress. So, why are they in there for a start? And if you look at the actual blueprint of the king's chambers, the queen's chambers, I wouldn't personally look at them and say it's burial ground. It all looks very well engineered, really. It's quite an engineered bit of kit. And now we know that the pyramids are, well, they're on stilts. There's 4 coils coming out of the underneath of the pyramids after the new scan, with little boxes on the bottom. So whether, I don't know whether that's an extension of the power plant, basically like a giant bloody plug socket, or whether the pyramids were on water and it was a hydro plant and that it was a pile foundation. Really, there's my 2 options for what them scans could have meant. But again, this is just my opinion. I'm not actually sure. It's not even like you can ask anyone from Egypt, because their archaeologists are just set on the idea that the Egyptians are what we were told they are in school, and they were pharaohs, and the Great Pyramids was just a burial ground, and they're adamant on that. There's no change in their ideas, so they're not open to change, as many people aren't. Not many people are open to change, and not many people are ready to accept anything new or accept that they could have had power. You don't know. But I think with these materials, I mean, the granite that's in there, it's in the inner chambers, and it's in a room with your bog standard 2.1 by 2.19, 900 wide, your bog standard door, and yet there's just a piece of granite in there that shouldn't be able to be in there. It's almost like it's been built around it, like it's a battery pack or like a charging point or some storage. It doesn't sit right. And if you actually, I don't know, you could probably ask ChatGPT to give you an image of what the pyramids actually look like. With, I mean, they're very, very impressive as they are now, but if you can imagine them covered in lime with gold all over them, it is literally like the poshest power plant you could imagine. And the alignment with Orion's belt and all the other pyramid structures that are all in alignment with the stars and with all in the earth. What's to say that they weren't all connected, and like the Masonic structures were just like little pylons? Because every country, I think, has got a Masonic structure in it. Yeah, it's probably something to do with the Freemasons as well, but which we'll get into on another episode. I did actually try and apply for the Freemasons and got in, but the wife said no. Because I did want to expose it all and see if it was all Illuminati and secret handshakes, and I'll get into that because it's half true. But I think the Egyptians were more advanced than what people make on. I think they figured out Tesla's 369 vortex maths, used the vibrations of the earth, the frequency of the earth, to help move the stones up into position. Because there's certain places in the country and in the world where you can use there's one where I've seen a video on a Facebook page called Rabbit Hole where there's people just using the vibration of the voice, and the water elevates. So basically the frequency is going around and under, pushing it up. So what's to say that anything in water is weightless? So what's to say that's not how they built the pyramids, with the water level being so high and the water table being as high as it was back then? They probably just used the water inside the actual pyramid in the chamber to raise everything, but at the same time realising hang on, we've basically got hydropower, and I think maybe they might have discovered it on a fluke. They might have just, it seems too weird to have quartz, granite and lime and gold all within the same structure and it just be for burial. It doesn't make sense. It just could be, why? It doesn't strike me as, well, I'll tell you what, when I die, cover me in lime. It doesn't make sense. It's put me in a granite tub. It doesn't sit well. It screams, I am not what I am. And the theorist in me is like, well, it could be a power station. Everything sits there, and when you go through it piece by piece, individually, everything is nothing. But when you add a slight electrical charge to everything and a little bit of tectonic movement, that nothing becomes something very, very quickly, and something that you can, it's becoming usable. So unless they've had help, let's say, from whoever was in power at the time, I mean, it could all link in together as one. It could be the sake of whoever's living over the ice wall, which we're weirdly not allowed to go to, and all the countries have signed the treaty. It says they're not allowed to go over there. And the minute you try and get over there, you're confronted by military. So unless someone is hiding something over there, and maybe there's a replica over there, and that's like ground zero for all the world's technology, and that's what Tesla was onto. And that's another reason why he disappeared. Maybe it's because his pigeon left him, I don't know. But oh man, I just think the Egyptians aren't as daft as what I wouldn't say, well, not daft, but they're not slow on the uptake, I don't think. I think that they've realised, I mean, if caveman can make fire just by figuring out how to use friction and rub two sticks, what's to say that a more advanced civilization can't just can't create electricity with Earth's materials and use the Earth as its actual nucleus for the power, rather than using, like I say, nuclear for power, where you need a central point. Maybe they've realised that the Earth is its own power, and it can generate its own power itself, and we can harness that power. Maybe they figured that out, and maybe everything is wrong, and maybe it didn't take 30 years to build the pyramids. Maybe it took them 5. And maybe it wasn't humans that built the pyramid, or maybe at least they got help from some sort of higher being, because even in the hieroglyphics it does show the Egyptians just, there's a pointing up to a circular disc that's either, it could be interpreted as a UFO, it could be anything, but they are referring and deferring to something else. And if, again, I go back to it, if you're making a pyramid which looks 4-sided but is actually 8, which is in perfect alignment with Orion, which is also on its own constantly moving, and you've built chambers that look like a damn near perfect engineer's drawing, I just think there's more to it than a burial chamber. There's more to it, and I think it was a hydro station. I think it was the main hub for the world's power. That's what I think. But I want to know what you guys think. I want to know your theories on it. I am going to do, like I said, I'm going to do a deep dive on it all. I want receipts. I want to try and find every nook and cranny of information, but this at the minute, this is my favourite theory. I mean, it's that good, I've even got a bloody tattoo on it, but it fascinates me, and the prospect of the older world having power and technology, where does that means there's a gap where something happened where that all got taken away. There's a gap for that. Somewhere it all got taken away. And then we had to start again. And then Edison came along, Tesla came along. I just think there's something more to it, something more to it. It's not what we think, it's not mainstream burial ground, it's not, just can't be now, especially now with the scans, and it's on pulse, it's on stilts. I mean, it's either got enhanced power coils going through it to produce more power, probably because of the water level, which again even adds more to the idea of it being a hydro station. It adds just because the water level was high when the pyramids were originally built, and obviously somehow it's dried out, and there's either been a cataclysmic event or global warming has come in or something like this, and it's dried everything out. But until we truly excavate, which you never do because it takes forever, but then again, so did the pyramids being built. But until we excavate, we'll never know. So basically, someone's got to go in there, hoover up all the sand, and just expose it all. It'll be a project worthwhile, because then we can prove all the debunkers wrong, and we can prove all the doubters wrong, and we can prove mainly the Egyptian archaeologists who are just set in their ways and they don't want to change. They're quite happy to say, yeah, this is a burial ground, nothing more, nothing less. It is what you see, but I don't think it is. But this is why we start this channel. This is why I want to ask questions, and I want your feedback. I want the conversation to start. I want to know everyone's ideas. I want to know your theories too. Just get involved in the comments, and when it comes to the deep dive, we'll go through absolutely everything. Yeah, I think that's the way to do it. I think we'll go through everyone's theories in the comments, and when we do the deep dive video, I think we'll address everything. Like someone in the last video for the Tesla video mentioned Edison, and I took it on, and I will, when I do my deep dive, everything will get brought up. So I think that's the way we're going to do it. I'm just going to skim over topics that I enjoy, and then we'll go, say we do a series of 10, and then I'll go back over and do a deep dive on those 10, and then see where the theory I like fits in. I think that's it for today. Have a good day. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and get in on the conversation. I'm running out of fuel there. I need some juice for the next one. Take it easy, guys. Have a good day, and I'll catch you in the next video. Don't forget, like and subscribe. Turn that bell on. I'll see you later, guys.